Hello, my fellow readers. I wasn't sure that I was going to do this one because now it's been a while. Originally, I was going to record this like right after the first half and put it up and be like, hey, just finished this. Here's the rest of the story. But then I didn't, and then I wasn't sure I was going to, but I really feel like I want to. So there was the series that I talked about previously, and it's The Boy I Loved Became the Jaded Emperor. And I talked about Volume 1, and that I had just started Volume 2. And I was like, oh, I don't know how long it's going to be. It ends with Volume 2. So I wanted to do this super quick update just to let you know my overall thoughts on the series. It is the quickest of little duologies. And it is still very sweet. If I had paid attention, by the way, it says final volume right on there, but I wasn't paying attention. I was just like in the world, like I just picked it up and started reading into it. So just a quick recap. In Volume 1, we had a young boy who is murdered and thrown into the forest. What they don't know is that the young boy has the ability to come back to life, and he does. And in his being lost in the wood state, he dies quite a few times and comes back to life quite a few times. Ends up being taken in by a woman who looks like an older woman. I don't really know much about her age, but they end up forming this little mini found family. It's just the two of them. She calls him Ham, he calls her Pie, and together they make this really cute duet, learn all about life, and then suddenly the guards, I think there is word that travels out that he's still alive in the woods or something, so they go to try to find him. When they find him with Pie, they end up killing not only a lot of the animals in the forest under the attack, but they end up killing Pie, and so Ham goes kind of wild and is just distraught. And this turns him into the Jaded Emperor. Like, he kills people, and he's a little rough. However, in his pleading, he does pour his magic into Pie, and he makes this wish that Pie would live and come back. What it ends up doing is Pie is reincarnated into the body of a baby. So it's a number of years later. No, it's right away. I don't know why I said that. A number of years later is when the next events occur, where Pie has been reincarnated into this noble family, and then she ends up being invited. Like, there's a big shindig at the castle, blah, blah, blah. She ends up meeting Ham, doesn't realize that it's Ham. He in some ways reminds her of him, but he's so different. He's so cold and unaccepting, and Ham was the opposite. Like, he was a sweet, loving, shy boy. So she doesn't see how it can be him. And they have this interesting interactions, blah, blah, blah. Leads to the next volume. And in this volume, their identities are revealed to one another. And the main thing, although it really did not seem like that big of a roadblock, the main thing for them after that is coming to see each other as the way that they are now. Ham is pretty much, and that's not his real name, obviously. What was his real name? Alexei. Alexei I would say very easily ends up falling for the new version of Pie. And what was her real name? Eleonora. Yeah, Eleonora. He pretty quickly falls for Eleonora, and he, I think, is excited by the fact that he sees Pie in her, and then when he discovers that she really is Pie, he's thrilled to discover that. Whereas Pie, one, she still doesn't realize for quite a while that it's Ham, because Alexei lies and is like, oh yeah, I knew him once upon a time. So it takes her longer to realize that it is Ham. And then when she does, she has a bit more of a struggle of seeing Alexei as a love interest because of how she knew him as a boy, and she was more of the caretaker at that time. And I think that's completely valid. I don't think it takes as long as one would think from even reading like the back of it, but that would be the main problem. But spoiler alert for this series, so if you don't want to hear the rest of it, don't. Like, just stop here. I will see you next time. Have a great one. Spoilers into this. They do end up together, and married, and they have a child. And it's discovered that the color of Pie's skin is not, I guess it's not genetics. It's not a sign of anything other than power, because their first child, I think it was their first child, is born green. And it's not because of the past with Pie. It's that he has a lot of magical power. And I don't know why. Why would their son have been born green, but not Alexei? Because Alexei obviously had a lot of power, because he was able to, like, reincarnate and everything, and he's able to give, like, power to Pie to have her reincarnate. That part didn't really make sense, and I can't remember if maybe it was more like animal talking power, but then why wouldn't Eleonora be born green? Because she had a lot of Pie's abilities in her new life as Eleonora. So I don't know, it didn't completely make sense, but it is a really cute tale. It's just a little quick romance story about two kind of star-crossed, I don't want to call them star-crossed lovers when they were in the previous life, because one was like seemingly more adult, but maybe she wasn't. I mean, I think that's the whole thing. I do not know how old Pie was, because it could be that she just looked a certain way, but was not. But I don't know. We do know that she was like abandoned or forced into living in the woods because people wouldn't accept her for her color and who she was. But I guess it never really does say how long she was alone in the woods. She could have just been a kid. I don't really know. Anyway, that's my quick little thoughts on the second half. And just to tell you that it is done. So if you were looking for a very quick romance fantasy manga series, this one, it's done in 2 volumes. Very simple, very quick, very easy. I don't know whether or not I'm going to keep this one. I might donate it, because even though I thought it was really cute and sweet, I also don't know if it's what I'm going to like keep traveling back to. So this might end up being a library copy so that more people can enjoy reading the series. And that is it for this video. Until next time, bye.